Hey guys, Wise aka Thomas here, bringing you another review. Now, I'm sure you've all heard of and maybe even played the game Happy Wheels. This was a game made famous by a variety of YouTubers as they struggled to complete crazy stages built by a community, avoiding death and dismemberment, all to arrive safely at the finish line, mostly in one piece. Well, now we get to experience this whole thing in 3D with all the ragdoll physics you can handle. Now, I'd like to invite you guys to compete in these extraordinary challenges of life and death in the game Guts and Glory, an early access title by HakJak Productions, published by tinyBuild games. Let's take a look. So normally when I do a review, I like to start with the storyline, background elements, and some of the lore behind the world that you're living in to really set the picture and set the tone for the game. Guts and Glory is a little bit of a different style of a game, however, and there's not much story to really go with it. Ordinary people are competing in these extraordinary challenges for just kind of an unknown reason. They're attempting to survive these courses from hell that have landmines, turrets, cannons, archer towers, and all these other things trying to kill them along the way as they go from start to finish. Why do they compete in these challenges? We may never know, but an idea that I thought would be a little bit fun is maybe they've been chosen in like a Hunger Games fashion to decide their own fate, live or die. That said, there's no real storyline here though, and really one shouldn't expect one with this style of a game. So moving into the gameplay, which is really where this game shines, that lack of story or plot doesn't mean that the game isn't worth playing. The style here is very, very much inspired by Happy Wheels, almost to the point of being able to say this is a complete copycat ripoff. However, the game stands on its own as its very own fun experience, modernizing Happy Wheels and adding its own flair to it. You start by picking a stage, be it either an official one or a community created one, and then you get to pick your character to compete with. These characters right now include a father-son going on a nice bike ride, this redneck dude named Earl on a four-wheeler, and then the Yang family. It's an Asian family in a sedan. Right now there's only those 3 playable characters, however in the full release they're talking about having up to 10 different characters. So you move through this different stage, you have to avoid all the different obstacles on there, whether it's these crossbow bolts, cannons shooting cannonballs at you, landmines, buzzsaws, and all these other crazy obstacles, similar again in the Happy Wheel style. Once you get to the end of the level, you beat that, basically you have a best time and you want to try to always beat your time and see who can rank highest on the leaderboards in that sense. Once you complete all those official maps, however, there's still a lot you can do. So as I mentioned, there is Steam Workshop support with community created maps, and those maps are actually created in an in-game level editor that already exists in the current early access version. This allows you to create your own levels, share them with your friends, and download other levels off the workshop. It really gives you endless possibilities in my opinion, and I mean just being in early access right now, it's crazy that it's already there. There's so much value to begin with. At full release, there is a plan to have over 100 official tracks, and again, 10 unique vehicles and characters that go along with them. They also want to add in different power-ups, a bunch more obstacles and props to fill your levels with, and all this other stuff to just make a really big, huge variety of combinations that you can keep playing with. Now, moving into the visuals, it should be mentioned that this game is quite graphic. With all the obstacles I talked about with buzzsaws and archer towers and things like that, it should be mentioned that this game is really suited for a mature audience, and again, it's quite gory. You absolutely will be dismembered at some point. You're going to be blown up to a bunch of pieces, you're going to see your torso squirt blood out as limbs are ripped off of it, and you're sawn in half. And really, that said, the game does this in all kind of a near comic fashion, so depending on your taste, you may either be completely okay by this or completely disgusted by it, and it is something to note. The levels themselves have very simplistic models right now, but you know, they work really well. There's different props, like I said, for a lot of different variety, whether it's these buzzsaws or big fans that shoot you back up in the air, different buildings and different types of terrain and things like that too. The game is really about one thing, surviving the level from start to finish and doing it as close to one piece as possible. So really it does that well in the visual portion of it, and again, it's, you know, kind of part of the fun, as some people would say, is getting dismembered and seeing if you can still compete when you have one leg cut off. Again, it's just something to note that it is quite graphic. It's not really a pro or con. Now, moving into the audio, kind of like the other elements I discussed, there's not too much here. There's a lot of comical sounds as far as the different grunts as your character gets pummeled, blown up, and shot by the various obstacles in the game, and it adds comic relief to the gameplay. The sound effects of the crossbows, cannons, explosions, and stuff like that really do have quality to them. It's kind of interesting that there's good note to that. It's not just one sound or anything like that. You have individual sounds that really do sound correct and accurate to the game. It does add to the overall atmosphere of this kind of like hellish land, and as you're driving through and you hear an explosion go off right next to you, but you still live, it really kind of adds that tension and that adrenaline as you're trying to get to the end without dying. Now, moving into replayability, this is where the game shines. I've mentioned that at launch, it's already in early access and there's different features that are still going to come, but at full release, it's going to have over 100 levels and about 10 playable characters that are all unique in their own way. Combine that with the endless possibility of Steam Workshop support due to the in-game level editor, all the different props and scenarios you can come up with yourself, you'll find yourself with a game that's marked at $9.99 and it's going to provide you with hundreds of hours of endless, unique gameplay. To me, that's where I hold my value at. I always look at the value of a game based on how many hours I'll get per dollar that I spend on it, and I just know that this is something that I'm going to be able to come back to and always get fresh content. So overall, I really can't complain about Guts and Glory. I came in knowing it was backed by tinyBuild, a publisher that has never let me down in the past. Combine that with a developer that's actually local to me, hope I meet him sometime here, but he's local in Boise, Idaho where I'm at right now. I just knew I had to check it out. The early access stigma that's plagued so many games in the past, I don't think is going to hit Guts and Glory. Basically, Guts and Glory got funded on Kickstarter, the main developer quit his job, or excuse me, the only developer quit his job, decided to go into Guts and Glory full time, got it on Steam now, and again, it's in early access, and he's doing this full time. The level editor that's in there already with workshop support already pays for itself in the $9.99 price tag in my opinion, and that's a perfect price point to allow you those endless hours of fun without having to put a lot of money up front. So if you're into Happy Wheel style gameplay, I can't recommend this one enough. That said guys, I'll have all the relevant links down in the description below. I've been Wise, aka Thomas. Thanks for watching another one of my indie game reviews. Be sure to check out the other ones in the end card here, and thanks for watching.